You don't give the Brumbies a chance. He's talking about the Blues a second.
Yeah, once again, Devlin at his finest, misconstruing what I'm saying. The Brumbies have a chance, for sure.
We have watched them lose twice to the Chiefs, okay? We've watched them lose
as well
at home to Moana Pacifica. If you were talking 2 or 3 years ago, and this was Crusaders versus Blues, you'd be going Crusaders every day of the week.
Yes, that was partly because of the Blues. Because
but
until
also
Van Cotter turned up,
this
the Blues
Crusaders
were
side
soft.
isn't the same Crusaders side that Scott Robertson coached.
No, and this is a better Blues side.
DSPN, the Devlin Sports Podcast Network.
It's Friday, Lachlan, which means it's time to play one of your favourite games.
What has more chance of happening?
This is where I present 2 scenarios, 2 fixtures across the weekend, comparing teams versus teams, player versus player. You tell me, what of the 2 has more chance of happening? Yes! Let's start with the Super Rugby semi-finals. What has more chance of happening? The Blues go to Christchurch and win, and that's 30-0. The Crusaders are at home in Super Rugby playoffs, or the Brumbies go to Hamilton and win, and no Australian side has won in 20 separate attempts on New Zealand soil in the Super Rugby playoffs. So 2 great stats there. What is more chance of happening?
So you're asking me if there's more chance the Brumbies or the Blues win? More chance the Blues win.
You don't give the Brumbies a chance. He's talking about the Blues a second.
Yeah, once again, Devlin at his finest, misconstruing what I'm saying. The Brumbies have a chance, for sure. Absolutely, they play a really uncomfortable, stifling style, and if they can kind of win that physical battle over the Chiefs, which the Blues did last weekend,
there's what you're saying.
Well,
bore them.
You say all that matters is the scoreboard at the end of the day. Point is, if the Brumbies can win the physical battle and make things a bit uncomfortable for the Chiefs, and the Chiefs lost that side of the game to the Blues in parts last weekend. Brumbies certainly have a chance.
You're giving the Blues more of a chance in Christchurch, aren't you?
Yeah, I just think there is it feels fashionable to say, I'll give the Blues a hell of a chance because of what they did last weekend. I thought they had a hell of a chance last weekend, which is why I put money on them, which I won. But there is a, for lack of a better word, Tony Johnson said there's some sort of copying him, a swagger about them. There's a confidence about them at the moment. And that does do wonders to a team when you start to get on a roll. And there is an us against them mentality.
Yeah, they got all of that.
I'm not breaking new ground. You guys said this earlier in the week. And that can be enough, more than enough, to take down a Crusaders side that I still think is far from a finished product.
That is because we have watched them lose twice to the Chiefs. Okay, we've watched them lose at home to Moana Pacifica.
Yeah, Moana had a good performance in themselves from time to time
The
this year.
Crusaders have not been. If you were talking 2 or 3 years ago, and this was Crusaders versus Blues, you'd be going Crusaders every day of the week, right?
Well, okay, yes, that was partly because of the Blues. Because
but
until
also
Van Cotter turned up,
this
the Blues
Crusaders
were
side
soft.
isn't the same Crusaders side that Scott Robertson coached.
No, and this is a better Blues side than, no disrespect to Leon McDonald, but a much better side than the one that Leon McDonald coached.
Yes!
What is more chance of happening? Titans Manly tonight, Knights-Roosters tomorrow night. Titans beat Manly, or Knights beat Roosters. Knights are coming off the win against Manly. Titans, the worst team in the competition. What is more chance happening? Titans win or Knights win?
Yeah, the Titans are the worst team in the competition, and it's not just on the field, it's off the field as well, because there's rumblings around the future of Des Hasler as the coach, and there's obviously the David Fafita stuff. The Sea Eagles lost last week, of course, had that big lead. They don't go back-to-back with either winning or losing, so they win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. I think their record is 6 and 7.
Exactly right.
So from that perspective, I've backed them to beat the Titans. But the Roosters taking on the Knights. The Knights are missing a few guys through injury and origin. Jackson Hastings isn't a bad player. No one seems to like him at the club. I don't know. This is a toss of the coin. I think Manly and the Roosters will both win it. I won't say easily, but they'll win.
Yes!
Maybe the Knights. Maybe they've got more chance.
What is more chance of happening? Saturday night, 9:35, Cowboys home Dolphins. Sunday, 6:05, final game of the round, South versus Dogs. What is more chance happening? The Dolphins, who had a huge win last week against the Dragons, go to Townsville and win, or Souths upset the table-topping Dogs. What is more chance?
South Sydney have a few players coming back, I think, don't they? That might have been last weekend, never mind. But they also, there's a weird thing around Campbell Graham and how he's been, I think, named on the extended bench or something, and he's managed to avoid the origin selection. I have a lot of faith in the Rabbitohs. A lot of it's their head coach and Latrell Mitchell. I don't think they've
lost
beaten the
their
Bulldogs,
last 2.
though. Yeah, but I don't think they've beaten the Bulldogs though.
They were up 12-0. They actually looked pretty good at that stage against Canberra, and they dropped 36 points.
Is it up in Townsville? The Cowboys-Dolphins game?
Cowboys-Dolphins, yes.
Yeah, I want to say the Dolphins based on last weekend, but they've had these big wins this year and then they don't tend to back it up, which seems to be every team. There's no team in the competition, really, that is, apart from the Warriors, the Raiders and the Dogs, Maybe Melbourne to an extent because we know that they're going to be there in the top 4 at the end. There's no one else who's really lighted the world on fire, is there?
Okay, well, what's got more chance of happening? Cows beat Dolph or Souths beat Dogs?
Probably Cowboys because I still think the Cowboys should be favoured at home. You should have gone with the Dolphins on that one. That would be tricky.
What is more chance of happening? US Open golf this weekend. The 2 major winners so far this year, Rory at the Masters, Scheffler at the PGA. What is more chance of happening? Rory wins?
No, Scheffler wins much more.
Scheffler.
No, it's much more chance. Scheffler's far and away the best player in the world right now. Rory's press conferences, I don't know if you've seen, he's talked about how he's still kind of enjoying this,
he's basking
this Masters hangover, if you will. But it's a nice hangover to have.
It's been 2 months, though.
Yeah, but he made comments along the lines of he doesn't know what his future holds. He's still trying. He wants a bit of amnesia so he can kind of forget what happened 2 months ago, which tells you he's sort of in that winning mood, isn't he? Of celebrating.
I think he
just
feels like he climbed the mountain. He's got the Grand Slam of all the golf majors.
He may as well retire. No, but Scheffler's the best player in the world. He's won a major this year. I think he won another tournament recently. He has been the best player in the world for about 2 or 3 years. No, Scheffler's. He, much more chance that he wins than Rory.
Final one then. What is more chance of happening? Liam Lawson finishes top 10 in the Canadian GP,
I don't want to talk about Lawson.
or Ryan Fox finishes top 10 at the US Open.
Ryan Fox finishes top 10. I think
Foxy's got a real chance.
It's a tough course.
Yeah, but he's coming off another win at the Canadian Open. 2 PGA Tour wins in a month.
Well, the only way
he's so chilled and relaxed about this now. I mean, I think he gives himself a hell of a chance.
Well, the only way
that
he can perform well is if he goes to a playoff. So he's got to find a way to be tied at the end because that's when he gets as good finishes.
Liam Lawson though has been around the top 10. It's not out of the question he finishes top 10.
Well, it's not out of the question. He can certainly finish top 10, but he is certainly a peg below the drivers / teams that finish in that top 10 range, and he has been all season. So, I don't know, but I've got Lawson / F1 fatigue. I'm just kind of, I think it's just because our media, maybe we have part of a role to play in this, but our media has just bashed away at Lawson's stories for months now based on his future and Red Bull, politics and Racing Bulls issues and all this. I just kind of am over it.
All right, last one then.
It's not an anti. Don't take that as an anti-Liam thing. I really like Liam. It's a media thing.
I wish them both well. What is more chance of happening? We have A, Crusaders Chiefs Super Rugby final in Christchurch, or we have a Chiefs Blues final in Hamilton. What is more chance of happening?
Well, there's more chance the first one happens because the Crusaders should be favoured over the Blues, and they are favoured, and they have been a better team all season, and they'll win. I think the Crusaders will win, and the Chiefs will win as well. Well, what about the Brumbies? You're not giving the Brumbies much love there.
No.
Why not?
Because they're an Australian side playing in New Zealand.
But you're giving the Blues some love.
I'm not. I'm just thinking that
history's against both of them.
Absolutely. Is it the time that it's our time? Or do you believe the stats because the numbers don't lie?
This is the DSPN